So my name's Alison Waldron and I live at 31 Marcella Road. Before I start, I'd just like to raise 2 points or questions for the officer. One, when I was reviewing for this meeting, a number of the documents that were meant to get uploaded to the site weren't there, so when you clicked on the link they weren't there. And secondly, I just want to confirm that from my understanding of the revised plans, the highest tower has actually increased from 15 to 16 stories, and he keeps on saying 15 stories, and so I just wanted to confirm by the revised plans that are on the Lewisham website, it actually says 16 stories and not 15. That's your plan.
Plus 50.
It says 16 on your website, and the plan that's on there is 16, so I'd just like to make that point before I start. So I'll just proceed now. So one of the key concerns of local residents is the building of high-rise tower blocks in the middle of a low-rise residential area. Tower blocks above 5 stories are not in keeping with the locality. The proposal of graduating from 7 to 16 stories will cast a dark shadow over Marcella and surrounding roads, will have a huge impact on the quality of life of those on Sundermead Estate, as these properties are overshadowed by the Glass Mills development, the Citibank Tower and the data centre on Molesworth Street. Properties on Marcella Road have subsidence due to vibrations from the railway line. This construction would further unsettle the surrounding ground and impact the stabilities of these properties, leading to further subsidence. Additionally, the expansion of the Ravensbourne River will increase the flood risk. The Environment Agency, in their National Flood Risk Assessment of 2014, deemed this area to be of moderate to significant risk of flooding, and the London Fire Brigade have issued guidance to local residents should flooding occur. Many properties on Marcella Road have been refused building insurance due to the flood risk. The tower blocks will require deep foundations. Concerns have been raised that such excavations so close to the railway embankment could lead to a train derailment. This raises concerns with regard to access. Silver Road has a very narrow entrance and the proposed development will be densely populated. If there were a derailment or fire, the emergency services would have limited access to the area. Such concerns around access are being investigated by the Grenville Inquiry. Site construction will require large, heavy construction vehicles to access narrow residential streets, including bypassing Prendergast Primary School. This would lead to an increase in pollution, noise and heavy traffic, as well as having an impact on the health and safety of residents. There is a lack of infrastructure to support this proposal. There are 6 primary schools in the area. A resident on Marcella Road, 300 metres from Prendergast Primary School, failed to get their son into any of these options earlier this year. Additionally, all the after-school and breakfast clubs are oversubscribed. We've all experienced the challenge of getting doctor's appointments, with waiting times of up to 2 weeks on occasion. Lewisham Hospital A&E department continually fail to meet their 4-hour target, with some patients who require specialist beds waiting in A&E for up to 3 days for an allocation. Additionally, there are a number of halls of residence in the area, which puts extra impact on local amenities. Transport for London recently asked Lewisham Council to delay construction of a 34-storey tower next to Lewisham Station and a proposed development on the site of Carpet Right on Lone Pit Vale of a 16 and 30-storey tower block until the DLR have more trains in 2022. To paraphrase a quote from Lewisham Council, TfL have completed a review of the current planned capacity of the DLR network. This indicates that Lewisham branch between Frank and Stratford is now operating over capacity. In conclusion, the residents on Marcella and surrounding roads have chosen to live in this part of Lewisham because it offers quite traditional low-rise housing. Tower blocks of 7 and 16 stories, 61 metres from Marcella Road, will be intrusive to both the front and back of properties and will infringe on the privacy of residents on the Sundermead Estate, 21 metres from the construction site and the completed development. This proposal will have a huge impact on the privacy, quality of life and health and safety. Additionally, there are concerns this development will result in an increase in crime, opening up sensitive area previously restricted to the public. There have been an increase of burglaries to the back of Marcella Road, via the railway line, and this development would further expose the back of properties on the Sundermead estate. There are many high-rise towers in the front of Lewisham Station and along Longpit Vale. Local residents are unclear why these are 50% occupied and question whether they are sold for profit by developers to investors rather than prioritised for local residents. I ask all those present what they want their legacy to be 10, 20 and 30 years from now. Is it that Lewisham is a progressive council that lead the way and set the standard across London, that they are seen as a desirable area to live with a good mix of quality housing, or a no-go area of high-rise, unattractive housing? Additionally, residents have raised concerns with regard to parking in the surrounding roads. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping so well to time. Thank you for your presentation. Questions from members? Councillor Cohen?
What evidence have you got that it will impact on flood risk?
That is, what's this one? Sorry. This is actually from Environment Agency National Flood Risk Assessment of 2014, where they deem the local area to be of moderate or significant risk to flooding. So it's actually on, you can look it up on the internet.
I think the question for us, though, because we have to make a decision,
So there has
what
been,
impact would this development have on that flooding risk?
well, they're actually proposing to open up the Ravensbourne Road, which isn't actually opened up in that area at this point in time. So that would be an increase in water in that area, which isn't there at this moment on the floodplain.
I suppose for us it would be what was the Environment Agency's view of that?
I'm
as a
sorry,
result
I'm
of
not
that
with,
development?
I don't know if anyone else
In the report, it does give the Environment Agency's amelioration recommendations about where buildings should occur in relation to this. Can you fill us in on that one?
So just to clarify, the applicant is not touching the channel of the river, so they're not actually going to directly channel or expand the width or anything of the river. What they're doing is they're opening up access to the edge of the river within landscapes. So in flooding terms, there wouldn't be an impact, and the Environment Agency have not objected to the scheme.
Can I just clarify something quickly about some sort of infrastructure?
No, we're asking objectors questions now. The 5 minutes went to
Someone asked me.
Struttenfield.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
Very interesting you asked that. Thank you. My name is David. I live on the Sala Road. Just very quickly, I'm currently doing a postdoc at St George's Hospital, London. Previous to that, I've worked at Marie Curie on one of the nursing teams. I've been looking into sort of the impact of this development on sort of local healthcare in the area. There are 3 GP surgeries around this area. There's the Triangle Group practice, there's St John's Medical Centre, and there's the Hillyfield Medical Centre. These practices all have roughly between 10,000 and 15,000 patients per practice. There are 24 GPs in total between those practices. It is important to point out that none of those will be fully staffed every day of the week. The waiting times in these practices, as alluded to, is roughly between 2 and 3 weeks. And it is my opinion, and I think a lot of people would share this, that there is simply no slack in the system at present for a development of this scale. The knock-on effect will be very clear. It will be putting huge amounts of pressure on Lewisham A&E, which is already, as we've said, under huge amounts of pressure. It doesn't meet its 4-hour target. I was there the other day, and I had a patient who, in paediatric A&E, had waited for 9 hours. They're just, I can't reinforce the point anymore that there just is not slack in the system. And I'm afraid, having been through this proposal, or Magna Carta-esque document of it, it doesn't seem to make any sort of provision for thinking about the healthcare implications of the development of this scale.
Thank you. Do you want to explain about that, Michael?
So all development is chargeable with what's called CIL, which is the Community Infrastructure Levy. and that's basically a tax, for what of a better word, on all new development that goes towards pooled services such as healthcare, education and so on. So this scheme attracts a figure of £781,302.40p to Lewisham Local SIL. That is payable to the council upon commencement of development, and the council will put that towards improved services. So, for example, there is work with things like the One Public Estate, the NHS Trust, for example, and the CCG to provide healthcare. So there is a wider council strategy for healthcare.
Councillor Silver?
It's not a question, it's a response. I was looking at that figure, so I was looking at that figure of 780,000, thinking about not just health but schooling, and I don't think anyone could possibly say that's adequate to mitigate against the increased pressures on the social infrastructure. I mean, it simply isn't.
I think that's a statutory calculation. It's a statutory calculation.
I'm not saying it's illegal, I'm saying that it's insufficient.
You might be aware the council is currently, it's finished consultation now, it's consulting on a revised SIL charge, which is actually higher than this. So in the future there may be a higher SIL charge, but it is worked out on a fixed
Is that because the council and yourself agree that this is insufficient? Is that why we need a higher one?
It's I don't have the answer to that question, but it's that is something that the council is looking at. But this is a equation that kicks out a figure, and that's the figure.
Right, are there further questions to the objectors rather than any other points to be made? Any further questions? No? Right, thank you to the objectors.